Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Taylor, and I'm one of many worship leaders here. And we're in this Fakebook series together, right? And if you were here last week, you heard Josh give an incredible message about fake feelings. And he said that the only way to be real is to be real, and that you can't fake your way to real. So I'm going to do just that with you today. I'm just going to strip away all the filters, all the masks, and I'm just going to get real with you guys and share a little bit of my testimony with all of you and in a beautiful way that Christ intervened in my life. So believe it or not, I have not always been in a place in my life where I can stand here on this stage and sing and have my hands raised and proclaim the goodness of God, because I haven't always experienced that, and I always haven't felt that. In fact, I've had my fair share of mistakes and regrets in the past. I haven't always lived a very God-honoring lifestyle. In fact, my relationship with Christ has been one where I've strayed from him more times than not. I've doubted him more times than not. And I've downright just wrestled with him on some things and asked, God, why are things the way that they are? I don't understand. But what I want to talk to you guys today specifically about is a time in my life where Christ just intervened so beautifully and gave me a second chance at life. And that was about 5 years ago when I was a senior in high school. Now, this time period in my life, I was going through a very, very dark season of depression. And what it felt like for me back then, honestly, was like I was a sponge, and I was just soaking in every single negative thing that happened around me. And that continued for a long time. And at the end, it left me feeling really depressed and really discouraged and really just uncertain about a lot of things around me. And so that continued to progress and progress until one day I started getting these other types of feelings that I've never felt before. Feelings like, I don't really care if I wake up tomorrow or not. Feelings like maybe this world would be a better place without me in it. Feelings like, I just don't even want to do it anymore. And as those feelings continued to progress and progress, it led me up to one night, unfortunately, where I had planned to take my own life. And I remember it very clearly. I was standing on the edge of the bridge, and I was about to jump, and I was just replaying these lies over and over to myself. Lies that kept telling me, Taylor, you're a mistake. Nobody wants you. You're unforgivable. You're unfixable. And I found that just as I was about to jump, I couldn't. I physically could not. And it didn't make sense to me at the time, because this is what I had wanted. This is what I had planned. And now I'm finding that I just can't. And now, years later, looking back, I know that it wasn't random. I know that what was keeping me from jumping was the still small voice of Jesus in my head, because he wasn't going to let go of me that night. So what ended up happening was I called my mom. She was able to come get me. And from there, I was admitted to Epworth Hospital in South Bend for a week. And friends, that was the hardest, most painful week of my life. I don't think I have ever cried and screamed and doubted and questioned so much in the span of 1 week as I did then. But I truly believe that it was also the best week of my life, because I was able to finally find some healing again. I was able to be filled back up with the grace of God, this God who was somehow giving me a second chance at life when I thought I didn't deserve it at all. And it took me a really long time to work through everything that happened to me that led me to wanting to take my own life that night. And it wasn't easy, but God slowly and painfully and beautifully just pieced me back together again. In one of my favorite quotes, it says that you will never experience the fullness of Christ until you experience the emptiness of everything else but Christ. I think that quote just embodies my story so well. I had to hit an all-time low where I felt like I had nothing left in me for Christ to come and fill me back up again with his grace and his goodness and his love. And sometimes I have to take a step back and I have to pause and just look around, and I ask God, I would have missed all this, wouldn't I? I would have missed getting a hug from my dad. I would have missed having that conversation with my friend that means so much to me now. I would have missed being up here on the weekends. I would have missed it all, wouldn't I, God? And he says, yeah, you would have, but you don't have to. And so, friends, maybe your story is a little bit like mine. Maybe you've been through something very similar. And if that's the case, I just want to take a time out right now to say, I am glad you are here. I am glad that you are in this building, in these seats, that you are alive and breathing, because the truth is that the world needs you. We need you. So thank you for being here. And if you don't get anything else from this message, just lean in this one moment, because this is something that took me a long time to figure out and grasp onto, but I know that it's the truth now, that I know who God is and who I am to God. And it's this. It's that the next time that you feel unwanted, God says, I want you. And the next time that you feel like you're a mistake, God says, no, I actually have a very specific purpose planned out for you. And the next time that you feel unforgivable or unfixable, God says, your sins and your flaws were already hung up on that cross with me a long time ago. So friends, sometimes God's love is really gentle and gracious and kind, but other times he shows us this completely other different type of love that's powerful and overwhelming and in your face at times. And that's the kind of love that he showed me 5 years ago when I needed it most. And I know that that's the kind of love that he will show you when you feel like you are empty and have nothing left to give. And we're actually gonna sing a song about that type of love. And there's a certain section in this song that says, you chase me down, you seek me out. How can I be lost when you have called me found? It's just my prayer that as we sing those words together, it is just a moment of reassurance for us that that's the kind of God that loves us. That's the kind of God that we serve. The God that always chases us down and seeks us out when we feel like we have nothing left to give. So let's sing this together.